You are listening to the Franchise Business Real Talk podcast hosted by me, Guy Coffey. I'm a franchise industry veteran with a perspective that most people in franchising don't have. I'm a franchisor and I'm a franchisee. Living and serving in both of these roles helps me understand challenges and see opportunities that some people can't see. I love franchising and want to see everyone in it win. The guests I have on the show and my own experiences shared here are our way of helping you do just that, win in franchising. I hope you enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm Liz Strikwerda, and I head up content marketing at TrueLark. Today, I'm excited to speak with Guy Coffey, co-founder of Frenchie's Modern Nail Care. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, well, let's start off. Can you tell me a little bit about Frenchie's, when you launched, how many locations you have, all that good stuff?
Sure. We launched Frenchie's. We actually started a studio back in 2014 on Valentine's Day with the express and intention of creating a national brand in the nail care industry to kind of clean it up in lots of different ways and be a dominant player in it. So we started that back in 2014. In 2015, 2016, we started franchising. That was the plan all along. And got going with that. We had proof of concept in a couple states and 3 studios, and just started selling from that point on and improving our system. And so right now we're at 24 studios. We had another one just open yesterday, which we're really happy about, down in Colorado Springs. And, after COVID, we were shut down for a while, and we're a personal service business. We touch people's hands and feet for an hour at a time, basically. So it hit us particularly hard, especially in some markets, worse in other markets and better in others. But the bounce back has been real, and demand's never been higher. Our unit performance has never been higher. And we're excited about where we are and what we're doing, and that includes, our partner vendors that are helping us do that and coming along for the ride too. Hopefully,
that sounds great. Congratulations on opening another location yesterday. That's wonderful, and we love working with you as well. So, what's an estimate of how many employees over all the locations? It's
probably between 250 and 300.
Wow. That's quite a workforce to manage, huh?
Yeah. No, most of those are franchise owners, employees, but they're all part of the brand and, hopefully singing from the same choir book.
Yeah. Sounds like they do. So as far as corporate management headquarters, how many in that?
We have a very small but mighty team, and we've been working with each other. All of us, one way or another, have been working with each other for over 10 years. Some even way longer than that. So we have a team of 6 at corporate for all the normal categories, and it truly is one of those things where it's more like a family than a team because we've been together for so long, and we just work really well together. We only have 3 here in Colorado, 2 in Minnesota, and then 1 down in Louisiana, in New Orleans, actually.
Well, that's impressive. So a team of 6 is managing all those locations and expanding your brand. That's great. Okay, so let's get into talking about TrueLark.
Yeah, for sure.
TrueLark and Frenchie's. Okay, So what software were you using before you piloted TrueLark for communications?
I think the closest service that we had, closest to TrueLark services for us, was a company called Hello Frederick. And then it switched to just Frederick, or maybe just Hello. I don't remember. I think it must have been Frederick. And then that was purchased by an point of sale system that we don't utilize. And they ceased supporting anybody that wasn't on their own point of sale system. So, we had to look for alternatives at that point in time. And we actually saw a really good return on investment from that service. And we were, a little bit boohoo and sad when we couldn't use it anymore. But it's like so many things in life. What you think isn't good, wait a little bit and maybe it does turn good. And in this case, it did, because we ended up getting introduced to TrueLark and seeing what you guys do and what you're capable of doing, and then working with the people has been a fantastic experience. So you never know where your blessings are.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good philosophy, to just hang on when things seem a little like you have challenges.
Yeah, for sure.
So your other solution, before you couldn't use it anymore because they wanted you to use the whole suite or the point of sale, that was working pretty well. Did you, when you were looking for another solution, were there other features that you wanted to add to the functionality that you originally had?
Well, our job actually is to keep on making ownership of a Franchise studio or Franchise studio easier and easier. And that comes back down to partnerships and vendor relationships and all those kind of things. And so what we were looking for in the beginning was actually someone to help us automate some of our marketing. We're an appointment-based business. So, what that other service did was help us fill days, or, boost marketing automatically in a smart way, so that we didn't become, spam in people's life, but was hitting them at the right time with the right offers and things like that. And so that's what we were looking for originally. And then, we got some of that, but what we also got from working with TrueLark was another real bottleneck in any customer service business, brick and mortar, where there's busier times and there's less busy times. And we have a front desk concierge position that, they are first and foremost, are the first point of our client experience from a human perspective. Obviously, branding and logos and signage and websites and all that kind of stuff is pre-service, but when they come in, the first human experience is the concierge. And they're also assisting the nail specialists and helping kind of quarterback the show and making sure everything runs smoothly in the studio, because they are busy and it's high energy, and it's like, it's like the lunch rush or the dinner rush in a restaurant. Everybody's charged up and everybody's chipping in. Many hands make light work. And and what doesn't go well with that is when you're talking to a person, face to face, is the phone ringing and not getting picked up, or worse, you stop a conversation with a real live person to pick up the phone. And so that's where TrueLark, really, really came through, because that eased the burden on that concierge position, whether there's one or two up there. And so that was a huge load lifted from our people in the studio, to know that incoming communications are going to be handled in a professional way, and not just like an answering service, but they're actually going to answer questions. It's going to get the right solution. It's actually going to book the appointment, goes right into our point of sale. So that was a huge load lifted from that concierge position. It makes, and it's also, never taken a sick day. It's never, it's always there. Right. So, one of the benefits of technology. So it's always there.
Encyclopedic memory.
Yeah. It can look and, and tell exactly what that client is looking for. So, I remember the first time I actually used it from a consumer perspective. Of course, I'm sure I'm just like everybody else, like testing it out a little bit, give it a little bit more difficult questions. And I'm like, I cannot believe there's not someone that's in my company answering those questions, because it was truly impressive. So it's just been a load lifted, and, working with, Tappan mostly is who I interface with, and Srivatam. And, it's just been a pleasure. They've been great partners. We love we have some vendors. They're just vendors, right? And that's just the way it is. And then we have partner vendors, and that's who we'd like to have for all of our positions, right? But we really feel like TrueLark partners with us, and I'm sure they do with all their other clients as well, because it's not like we're some gigantic, company or something. They've even come and supported us at our training, fundamentals training, where we're working with franchise owners and their management teams, and like showing up in person and interacting and answering questions, and having our franchise owners that are on the system giving testimonials to the franchise owners that aren't on the system yet. So, it's a win-win.
That's right. We appreciate that as well. It's rare but beautiful to get a product evangelist rather than just a user, but someone that can champion. And so I know that it's a mutual admiration, because I have only been at TrueLark for a couple months, but I've only heard wonderful things from the team that works, directly with your. So when you train, when you bring on a new franchise owner, now all your tech in your onboarding, when you train them, TrueLark is just part of the workflow. And do you believe that helps you, say you have a prospect that's considering, I know that franchise is unique in the nail care industry, but suppose this prospect was looking at a couple different franchising operation or, different companies. Do you believe the capable tech that you have incorporated in the processes, I'm assuming it's somewhat of a turnkey? When a new franchisee takes over, they get your whole system, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's all part of our playbook for sure. We don't have TrueLark as a mandated vendor in terms of our franchise ownership yet. Might be something that we do down the line, just because we believe in it so much. We got to be pretty choosy about the mandated vendors that we have, because they come with costs. And so, but what we do have is a majority of our franchise owners that see the benefit and talk about it to others. And so, that's all part of our onboarding. We have a whole playbook that goes from, the prospect, the sales process, the after awarding a franchise to somebody, there's a lag time there while they find the right space and negotiate it and build out and things like that. But from basically 90 days out, like we have, I think, especially as it gets closer to opening day, it's almost a daily checklist of things that need to be done. And services that need to be onboarded and put in place so that it's smooth. And we're not perfect. Like there's always something that comes up, it's like a construction project. But we just, with our new franchise owner that opened yesterday, when we started out, our first non-corporate owned studio, we were super happy when they had like 14 appointments on the books, to start out. And I think yesterday when they opened, they had 304 appointments on the books. And, that kind of volume right from day one, you're definitely going to need technology to help that out, because, you put that many phone calls and texts onto someone's shoulder. They better be really, really on top of it, or something's going to drop through the cracks. And that's the other benefit of the technology, is like nothing drops through the cracks. Like there's no bad days, right? It's dependable, and it takes out one moving part that you don't have to worry about anymore, which is huge when you're running a small business. Like if you can get anything that's just stationary and dependable, it's usually not going to be a person, just because of our human nature, and our needs and things like that. So
owner included. Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I'm definitely raising my hand on that one. So, but like,
me, but anyway.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's just the way it is. So, to have that as part of their system right from the get-go is going to be a game changer. it just speeds everything up. And, our goal is to make it really easy to do business in our studios. And we're a no risk prospect. If someone doesn't like what they get, they can come back and get it redone. We just want to be no risk and super easy to work with. So in our business, part of that is, the appointment setting process and getting some basic questions answered. And if we can do that through technology and AI, then that's a no-brainer.
That's great.
Yeah. So you can always get more money. You just can't get more time. Right.
That's right. Time is infinite. I mean, finite. Time is finite.
Yeah.
Hopefully money's the potential money is infinite. So are you happy with the customization availability for TrueLark and the bot as it converses with your guests? Do you think it does a good job at reflecting your brand and the high standards and policies, that you keep for those kind of interactions and the customer experience?
Yeah, for sure. If it didn't, to be honest, we couldn't use it because, the crux of our business is a client experience cycle. It runs through everything that we do, and every communication and everything. So that would definitely normally fall in. Part of it falls in our pre-visit experience area. If it's hard to book, or if it's, to be honest, if it sounds like a robot making or if it sounds like a robot you're interacting with, it's not going to go well. That's not our voice. Even in our marketing, we have, I think, 27 different communications going out, depending on what service somebody's had and when they're due for another service, and, recommendations. And, we invest a lot of time and money into making sure that those come through with our voice, which is, professional, friendly, fun. And if that wasn't the case with our appointment setting thing, which is the first thing people are going to interact with, or maybe the second after the website, we couldn't use it. But as I said, when I first tried it out, I was, if you want your company to seem really smart, TrueLark does it for you. So, the voice is really important in the beauty industry. So that's one of the things that makes it possible for us to use it.
Okay. So, you use Lead Engage for, immediate responses. So how many promotions at a time would like an average Frenchie's location be running? Do you have any sense of that?
We're not really like a discounting place. But so promotions, I always think of discounts, but that's pretty narrowly defined. So usually it's customized for who's calling in, or who we're trying to reach, especially on the outbound, I should say. I should clarify. For the outbound, it's really dependent upon when a client came in, what day, what time, what service they got, what's the interval for that service that we would recommend coming back in, when's the last time they bought product, things like that. So for us, just interacting with people that are inbound communications in a quick, really dependable and smart way, that is, I don't think there's a limitation on that with TrueLark, because you can ask it so many different questions, and it knows the answer. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like hours, where to find directions, appointment times, how long the service will last. Like it knows all that stuff. So it's perfect.
So do you see a high rate of participation for the people that want to book with the TrueLark AI? Do you think that's quite a high percentage, or do you still have a few that really just want to talk to a live human?
Yeah. I think if my experience, and I don't know, to be honest, I don't know I know we have the numbers, but I don't know. Okay. But I know the people that look at those numbers in our little corporate team, our VP of marketing, my wife, who are all over that, and our trainer, our VP of training. They're all ecstatic about the numbers of that. So you're always going to get some people that want to talk to a live person. That's just fine. But, in this day and age, like if you can do it really quickly and get it done, and if there's any follow-up that's necessary, we follow up, for phone, confirming appointments and things like that. We always follow up. So there's always a chance for conversation, which is great because some people prefer it. Just like anything else, if there's any confusion, usually a conversation really clarifies things. But it's pretty clear with all, like someone makes an appointment, they get a confirmation. They'll get a confirmation before, 24 hours before, to give them an opportunity to be like, oh, life happens. I forgot about this, whatever the case may be. So, so it takes care of all that.
That's great.
Yeah.
So do you, of your franchise owners, some of them are multi-location, correct? And are some of your multi-location franchise owners have all those locations on TrueLark?
Yeah. Right now we have 2 multi-location owners, and I believe both of them are on there. Yeah.
Now, are they close enough geographically, these multi-locations, that someone could, book it either? You know what I'm asking?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes. Say, who do you have the quickest appointment with or whatever? So do you have that scenario with some of your owners?
Yeah. With one owner that has a few here in Colorado. Yep. For sure.
And TrueLark is working fine managing, multi-channels, multi-location.
Yeah. I mean, that would be, a huge advantage if we have studios that are 5 miles apart and someone really wants to get in on a busy day and they can't, you can always check the other one and see if there's some availability there. That's a huge advantage, because in the middle of a busy day, like even our concierge probably might not have the time to call the other place or whatever. I mean, they can look at the calendar for sure, but if it's automated, that's, as I said, it's just one less thing that's human dependent, and depends on what's going on in the studio at that point in time. They could have 3 people in front of them, right? Checking in, checking out, all those kind of things.
Hopefully they do, huh?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like it's that you're expanding, and
it
sounds like your customers are loving what you do, and it's helping you build this brand. So that's exciting. Well, any other feedback you can think of that we haven't talked about?
No, I would say wholeheartedly, and I don't say it about everything, is, if you have a business, I just know there could be great for other things too, Liz. I'm sure it is, but from our business, which is brick and mortar, appointment based, it's really important to get it right. It's really important to capture people when they want to make an appointment, not you call them back in an hour and they might be into something totally different, or said, forget it, I found an appointment somewhere else. Like, you want to capture everything that your marketing dollars are bringing in. I just don't know of a better investment to make than, to make sure that, because it's not even just the revenue that you get from that first appointment. Maybe you make them a lifetime member, or a lifetime, a member or a lifetime client. But it's also, you spend a ton of money on customer acquisition, and you don't want it to be ruined by someone having a bad day, or someone not calling back right away, or, just putting obstacles up to getting them in your place of business to give them your experience, and hopefully, winning their hearts and mind. So, there's some things that you can actually put a dollar figure on and see the return on investment. And this is one of them. So
that's great to hear.
I highly recommend it.
Thank you. We love working with you, and thank you again for participating.
Thank you, Liz. I appreciate you and everything TrueLark's doing for Franchise.
Okay. Thanks so much.
See you.